Hi, I am Crystal McFetters. I am the Public Information Officer with the Unified Government of Wyandotte County in Kansas City, Kansas. And welcome to another episode of On the Dot. I have the privilege of interviewing another amazing guest with me today, Miss Hattie Smith from our clerk's office. So welcome and thank you again for interviewing with me today, Miss Smith.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you just explain your role within the clerk's office and your title as well as what you do in the clerk's office for us?
All right, thank you. My name again is Hattie Smith. I am the tax levy manager of the Unified Government of Wyandotte County. What I do basically is all things related to taxes, the assessment role, that means all property ownership through Wyandotte County. We're responsible in this department for updating ownership, for updating mailing addresses as they have to do with tax statements or tax information. So all things taxes that would really fall in this department, and I'm the tax levy manager, and I oversee the activities associated with that.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you. So I'm going to jump right in, Ms. Smith. So this week, property owners are going to receive something in the mail. So can you explain what they should be looking for in the mail this week?
Well, going out this week in the mail will be the 2022 Notice of Estimated Ad Valorem Taxes. This is the first mailing that we've ever sent out with this information. This is a state mandated mailing to the people of Wyandotte County, and not just Wyandotte County, but across the state of Kansas. This particular mailing, this notice, that's exactly what it is. It's a notice, it's not a tax bill, but it is intended to help the taxpayers understand their taxes and potentially what their taxes may be when they get their tax statements in November.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And so you said it is not a bill, and it will state that on there, correct?
It
That this is
definitely
not
will
a bill.
it will state that it's not a bill. And I want, once they receive it, once the homeowners or property owners receive these statements or these notices, that they understand that it's not a bill. It's not something you pay. You don't have to worry about anything being due now. I know they've received a lot of different notices in this time frame, but this is not related to anything they have to pay right now. It really is intended to give them a notice or a heads up of what their taxes can potentially, not necessarily be, but potentially be when they do get the tax statements this fall.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you. And so so for example, I'm a homeowner and I receive this notice in the mail. What's one thing that you as an expert will tell me in helping me to understand and review this particular statement? Is there a resource or anything available for me now to kind of help me understand and read through the statement?
I think that once you receive the notice, if you will look at the different headers on that notice to understand what information is in each section, that alone will help you understand the information that's being provided. However, we also understand that there is a lot of information contained within this particular document. So if you have questions, and I'm sure you may, or you may really be pretty savvy on tax things, all things tax, and you may not need additional help. But if you do, there are resources out there. In fact, if you go to our main website, which is www.wycokck.org, on that first page, you'll find information related to this. If you click on news, you'll find the same information broken down again. You'll find other information that's been put out there to help the public, to help them understand what they've received. And certainly we don't want to throw anybody into confusion, but we do understand that it can be very confusing when you're receiving something you've never received before. So we're aware of that. We do have resources too. If you want to call and get additional help, you can call 311, our 311 call center, or you can go online and put in a request to the call center. So all that information is going to be right there at your fingertips, and hopefully that will help.
Perfect. Thank you. This is very helpful just for me, but I know this will be also helpful for our property owners and our homeowners that, like you said, receive this in the mail. And then I know the news article that you're referring to is under the website news article section, and it was published on August 5th. And there's an FAQ document in there, as well as a sample statement of what you're referring to, with the headers and some information, as a reference tool for people to utilize when they're looking at their statements. So that's very helpful. I know you really kind of thought that through, because like you said, it can be scary receiving something for the first time and not really understanding what you're looking at. So thank you for kind of putting those things in motion to kind of help people with those questions kind of ahead of time. So I just have a couple more questions. So if people want to voice their concerns about the proposed tax rate for the county and the city, is there an opportunity for them to do so?
There is an opportunity. Within that notice, there's a section that is detailing hearing dates. And let me just back up, if I could, for a moment. Again, I said there's a lot of information on this notice. There's this revenue neutral rate section, and it gives a recommended rate. And then it gives next to that a proposed tax rate or budget rate section. And that's giving what the subdivisions are proposing for this particular year. This is saying this is what we're going to need to operate for the next budget year, 2023. So on that statement, you're going to see what your taxes can potentially be when you receive your statement in the fall. Looking at the statement, you'll see a current year tax estimate section that will break it down across the taxing subdivisions. That says what is specific to your particular property. Everything that impacts your property is broken down in the first column to the left of the statement under taxing subdivision. And then going to the right, it breaks it out in different components: revenue neutral rate, the proposed budget rate, the difference between the two, which would be a percentage difference, as well as a dollar amount difference. And then the last column basically gives the estimated valuation for the current year for that particular subdivision. So the information tracks across left to right for that particular subdivision. Again, it is customized to your particular property. So whatever your school district is, it is customized to your school district. Whatever your city is, understanding that Wyandotte County is Kansas City, Kansas, Bonner Springs, and Edwardsville. So customized to your city, that information will be very specific in what we're detailing on this statement. So then if you have questions or concerns, you want to voice concerns, the lower portion of the statement is the prior year tax and public hearing section. And it's going to give you an address, it's going to give you a time, it's going to give you a date for each one of those subdivisions again. Then if you want to attend and express concern about the taxes, about them going up, about the proposed budget, whatever is on this notice, then certainly you can do that. And there are ways to do that.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much. This was a lot of good information, but like you said, I know that you all really kind of thought through this process and making sure you had these resources available for property owners and homeowners. So I would recommend that if you do have questions, like Ms. Smith said, please reach out to the clerk's office or call our 311 number, as well as continue to utilize our news article that was published on August 5th. There will be additional updates as we receive them from the clerk's office, from Ms. Smith and her team, to update that information. It will be updated on that news article as well. So do you have anything additional you want to add to that, Ms. Smith?
Well, I just say, don't get frustrated, don't get worried. Again, you do have resources available. Start with the 311 call center. They will document your questions, they'll answer your questions. Certainly, if you need to call anybody else, then we have numbers available. But if you start there, then we'll have the right people in place to transfer the calls to escalate to, whatever the case may be. But we have information prepared to answer the questions of the community, and hopefully the statements themselves will be easy enough to understand based on the way it's broken out on the notice itself.
Perfect. Thank you so much. This was very, very helpful. I look forward to hearing more from you and your team. And if you have any additional information that you're going to provide, like I said, we'll make sure that we get that pushed out for you as well. So again, thank you so much for speaking with me, and I look forward to hearing more from you in the future.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you so much.